Beto O'Rourke is also expressing his concerns over the current president.
And if we set the precedent that some people are above the law or beyond the reach of the law by not impeaching this president, not getting to the facts or the truth, I think that begins the end of this democracy. So let's begin.
That was last night, speaking with Stephen Colbert on The Late Show about his thoughts on impeachment of the president. And today, O'Rourke went on to talk about his party's frontrunner, and that is Joe Biden, of course. Political reporter Jack Fink is in Dallas with what he said, and also his response to another question that Democrats in Texas are asking. Jack?
Well, Doug, last night, Stephen Colbert also asked Beto O'Rourke why he isn't running for U.S. Senate again here in Texas. His answer, plus his comments about Joe Biden, made headlines today. Former El Paso Congressman Beto O'Rourke told MSNBC a vote for the Democratic frontrunner, former Vice President Joe Biden, would be a return to the past.
He is, and that cannot be who we are going forward. We've got to be bigger, we've got to be bolder.
Biden, though, leads all of the national polls, and those in the 4 early states. Andrew Morris, president of the Young Democrats of Denton County, says O'Rourke is right.
The way Biden's setting up his campaign is, I'm the anti-Trump, the best anti-Trump that there is, and I think as Democrats we need to be bigger and better and bolder than that, exactly as Beto said.
While O'Rourke is leading the 2020 race here in Texas in one poll, another survey last week by Quinnipiac University shows 60% of Texas Democrats and those leaning Democrat believe O'Rourke should run for Senate against John Cornyn, while 27% said he should run for president. On The Late Show last night, host Stephen Colbert asked O'Rourke why he isn't running for Senate like he did last year.
I want to run to serve as president of the United States, and I want to do so in a way that brings people in, that fixes our democracy. And I'll say this for Texas. There are going to be some extraordinary candidates running to oppose John Cornyn.
Morris says he is leaning toward Massachusetts Senator Elizabeth Warren for president, and is among those who believe O'Rourke should challenge Cornyn.
With Beto having tried that out, that's why I think Beto, if he were to flip into the Senate, could be a little bit stronger, especially with the name recognition he's gained over the past 2 years.
O'Rourke is not changing his mind. As for Morris, he says he is keeping an open mind and is looking forward to the first Democratic debates later this month. Live in Dallas, Jack Fink, CBS 11 News.
Jack, thanks very much.